What's up YouTube, it's Ravlar here and welcome back to another video. Firstly, I just have to give a huge, massive, mahoosive, mammoth-sized thank you. So, I won the Golden Gnome for Best New RS3 YouTuber last week and it was incredible. And of course, it's thanks to you guys that I even was nominated, so just, yeah, wow. So thank you once again from the bottom of my heart. I don't take it for granted. You guys are amazing. We have an amazing community, and yeah, I'm just so lucky to be a part of it. But anyway, back to today's video, and we're going to be doing RuneScape 3 tips and tricks for the month of October. But first, last video I said leave a funny assumption about me down in the comments below and you have a chance to win the bond. So congratulations to this guy who said you spend more time in Def's office than I do in my normal office. Now this is probably very factual and I think it deserves a bond, so congratulations to you dude. I will be PMing you in game. But for this week's bond competition, I want you to leave down the funniest thing which has ever happened to you in RuneScape down in the comments below, and the funniest one will win a bond, so you've got nothing to lose. Finally, make sure you check out the rest of the tips and tricks playlist and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm streaming very regularly, and of course subscribe and like this video if it helped you out. Kicking off October's tips and tricks, we have some very useful tips for Slayer, and they are centered around getting extra damage in. Firstly, you want to make sure that you're using Cinderbanes and Weapon Poison++ for all the tasks which are poisonable, which is pretty much nearly all of them. A combination of Weapon Poison and Cinderbanes does a huge amount of damage and significantly increases your XP per hour. Secondly, something a lot of people overlook is the Amulet of Zealot. Now I know my good friend Tony, aka Purety PPC, absolutely loves this necklace, and rightfully so. Now what this necklace does is when you wear it, your leech curses give you a total of 18% extra damage. Now tier 99 prayers give a total of plus 12% damage boost, but they also give an accuracy boost. So as a rule of thumb, this necklace with a leech curse is always better than a tier 99 prayer if you have 100% accuracy on that target. Overall, ensuring you use this and Weapon Poison and Cinderbanes will considerably increase your Slayer XP per hour. Next up, I have a couple of tips for bosses. First of all, let's talk about Nex. So on Nex's ice phase, if you are in an ice prism and you haven't anticipated before or use freedom in the prison, that means you can't eat and you're stuck there. Now if you try to use brews or food by using your keybinds, unfortunately it won't heal you and you're probably going to die if you're at low HP. But if you manually click on your brews, you can still heal yourself while you're in the ice prism, and this has saved my life a bunch of times. The next boss trick is very simple, and that's to do with a Raxor. Now before, I'd say about a year ago, when you went to a Raxor, you had to right click the corpse and leave after you looted, and this would just add on some time and be quite annoying. But now, after you've looted, you can just teleport straight away with your Maxscape or any other teleport you have, so hopefully this can save you some time in the future. Next up, when you're killing God Wars Dungeon 2 bosses and you set it to fastest respawn, you can still add a few kills an hour by quickly manually leaving and then re-entering your instance after you've killed the boss. This forces the boss to spawn even faster, resulting in an extra couple of kills an hour and obviously more profit. Another awesome tip which can help you out in some PVM scenarios is to maximize the Slayer perks that you use. Now around last year, it was made clear to us that the perk Undead Slayer works at Rise of the 6. Now this is an awesome DPS increase of a flat 7% just for adding that perk, and it's really easy to get alongside Crackling, so if you like to rot, make sure it's part of your setup. Likewise, you can use Demon Slayer at Krill and Dragon Slayer at King Black Dragon, Queen Black Dragon and Elite Dungeons too, and these all give a flat 7% damage boost, so make sure you take advantage of this. And if you're not sure if the damage perk is being applied, the great thing is it shows up on your buff bar, making it very easy to see if it's working. This next tip would really help you out if you do Nex a lot and you've been collecting the ancient emblems. Now, if you have a fat stack of these in your bank, they're not actually worthless even if you've made all the defenders. The good thing is you can disassemble these for 1 Zaros comp each, and of course this is very useful for impatient, so this will hopefully save you some money in the long term. Next up, if you have a bunch of scrimshaws which have littered your bank and it's really messy, well, there is good news. If you withdraw all of them and use them on each other, the scrimshaws will combine to a maximum of 4 hours or whatever their maximum length is, and the ones which are combined will be treated as new scrimshaws, so they will stack, and that way you can save some bank space. This used to be a massive issue for me because when I used to make a new preset and put a new scrimshaw in there, it would take a new scrimshaw out each time instead of using an old one, but now this is easily solved by using this tip. So for those avid runecrafters out there, you may have noticed that the Abyss does not have an Astral Rune portal, and this is kind of annoying because if you want to make Astral Runes, you can't get the Demonic Skull buff. But can you? Well, turns out you can, and all you need to do is just go through the Abyss as normal, and once you're in the center, you can teleport to Lunar Isle and go ahead and go to the Astral Altar, and if you make it within, I think it's 30 seconds, you get the extra XP from the Demonic Skull, even though the Abyss does not have an Astral Rune altar. If you open up your settings, then go to Gameplay, then Combat, then Action Bar, you scroll down a bit, you'll find the option to bind your action bars to a certain style. For example, if you set it up so a certain action bar is linked to melee, that means every time you wield a melee weapon, it will switch that action bar, and likewise for range and mage. You can also choose between two-handed and dual wield, so this makes switching really easy because you don't need to manually switch your action bars when you change combat style. This saves a lot of hassle and effort and has helped me immensely, so I highly recommend that you guys set this up. Another awesome customizable setting is if you go to Gameplay Settings, then Combat, then Targeting, if you scroll down, you can actually change the color of your hit splat depending on your style. You also have the option of hiding other people's hit splats as well, so you can go ahead and do that if you just want to see your own DPS. Next up, I have a couple more tips to make your AFKing a tiny bit more efficient. Firstly, I've made a full guide on how to use Alt-1 Toolkit, and this makes AFKing really easy because it notifies you when you get a beam on the floor, for example, or when your character has stopped fishing, etc. There are loads of cool settings and I've covered them all in this video, but if this is too complicated and you can't be asked, there is a very simple way to make AFKing that bit easier, and that's by using Runescape's in-game sounds. Now personally, I never use sounds unless I'm AFKing because I find it very helpful there, and I'm going to show you how to do it. All you need to do is go on Settings, then Audio, then make sure everything is muted apart from game sounds. Now what this will do is when you're doing an action like disassembly, woodcutting, fishing, or divination, it will make a sound. And when this sound goes away, well, you know that you've stopped doing your action, letting you know to click back on your screen and click again. This way, AFKing is a lot easier, but once again, I recommend checking out my How to AFK guide with Alt-1 because it's a lot more sophisticated. Anyway, I hope that tip helps. For the final couple of tips, I have some tips about the bank and the GE. So firstly, if you're in the bank and you normally click the search button to search, well, there's a quicker way to get there. All you need to do is type S on your keyboard and your search function comes up. I didn't know this until very recently, so hopefully that helps you out. Another practical tip I can give you guys is to basically name your presets because this helps a lot. And for those of you that don't know, you're going to feel very silly, but you can drag around your presets so you can use your hotkeys and load them at your free will. This is very convenient and naming them just makes it a lot easier to recognize what is what. Moving on to some tips for the GE, did you know that each buy option is key bound? So for example, the first buy option is key bound to 1, the second to 2, etc. So instead of manually clicking, you could be lazy and just type it on your keyboard. Secondly, they've recently added something very cool to previous sale history on the GE. So if you click on your sale history and right click, you have two options. Clicking on detailed repeat opens up the buy interface for the offer you just put in, and you're free to manually change it to whatever you wish. Clicking on immediate repeat quickly puts an offer in the GE straight away, which is identical to the previous offer that you've clicked on. Now this will save you some time, and I'm sure lots of you merchants out there will benefit from using this. Well, that about covers it for this month's tips and tricks. I really hope that this video helped you in one way or another, and if it did, please let me know how and why in the comments down below. Once again, a massive thank you from me for all the support you guys have been giving me. It means so much to me. I don't take it for granted. You guys are all awesome, and yeah, thank you once again. But for now guys, I'll see you in the next one. Oh wait, you guys requested this, didn't you? Na 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 na.